Prime Minister Andrew Holness makes historic visit to the African continent, signs long-lasting agreements with Namibia, and strengthens the region's relationship with the BRICS grouping. This and so much more in Jamaica House Weekly with me, Anthony Morgan. All week long, Prime Minister Andrew Holness was on the African continent, representing Jamaica and CARICOM's interests. Between July 22 and 25, Mr. Holness was in Namibia, the first sitting Jamaican head of government to visit that country. During the state visit, Prime Minister Holness held bilateral talks with President Dr. Hage Geingob. Following those talks, the country signed a memoranda of understanding on political consultation and sport. Namibia also agreed to a visa waiver for Jamaicans traveling for tourism and business. Following a tour of Namibia's port, the countries agreed to deepen cooperation in trade.
Today marks the beginning of a new and dynamic partnership between Jamaica and Namibia. I therefore commit my government and the people of Jamaica to a stronger partnership with Namibia.
The scope of trade and investment has not yet reached its full potential, particularly in the areas of energy, agriculture, infrastructure development, mining, tourism, and ICT. This visit today should allow us to expand our partnership and open new areas of cooperation.
Mr. Holness also witnessed the renaming of a street in the Namibian capital in honor of national hero Marcus Messiah Garvey.
We in Jamaica are extremely proud, yet deeply humbled, that you have chosen to honor one of our own in this tangible way.
While in Namibia, the Prime Minister met with the Jamaican and Caribbean diaspora, as well as business interests. As chairman of CARICOM, Prime Minister Andrew Holness addressed the 2018 BRICS Summit in Johannesburg, South Africa. BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, is a grouping of the world's emerging economies and accounts for a significant part of the world's population, landmass, and gross domestic product. The 10th BRICS Summit was held between July 25 and 27, with Prime Minister Holness addressing the outreach session on the 26th.
The government of Jamaica and the CARICOM region stand ready to work together with the global community and its international development partners in support of multilateralism to further the cause of sustainable and inclusive economic development and to translate our support into action and prosperity for our peoples.
To that end, Prime Minister Holness reiterated his call for Jamaica and the region to be reclassified in the international sphere. This reclassification, he said, should take into consideration the region's high level of indebtedness and fiscal deficit, as well as the environmental and social vulnerabilities of Jamaica and the region. While calling for multilateral and bilateral partnerships, Mr. Holness welcomed the BRICS nations' support for a rules-based multilateral trading system at the World Trade Organization. Prime Minister Holness also agitated for greater support for women and youth through social protection and inclusion programs. Addressing climate change issues was also a concern for the Prime Minister.
We join and reiterate the BRICS call for all countries to fully implement the Paris Agreement and for developed countries to provide financial, technological, and capacity-building support to developing countries in this regard.
Before his historic address to the BRICS Summit, Mr. Holness held a town hall meeting with the Caribbean diaspora in South Africa.
I urge you to cast your eyes to the Caribbean region in the same way I'm urging my Caribbean brothers and sisters to look to Africa in a serious way. There is great potential and great things happening on this continent.
Prime Minister Holness also shared Jamaica and CARICOM's positions on a plethora of world issues when he was interviewed by the press.
Being invited to participate in the outreach gives an opportunity for small island economies to bring their challenges to a global forum such as BRICS and to create the awareness and to bring leaders to an understanding as to what they could do to assist small economies to support a stronger system of global trade.
And Mr. Holness took some time to sightsee in South Africa. Back on the island, acting Prime Minister Dr. Horace Chang committed Jamaica's chairmanship of CARICOM to maintaining the viability of the University of the West Indies. He said the CARICOM heads had acknowledged the $20 million owed to the regional institution and moves were being made to address it.
We must always recognize that to maintain the institution of higher learning is critical in our long-term development. Short-term gains by holding back on any of our contribution is, in fact, long-term damage to the entire Caribbean community.
Dr. Chang was speaking at a welcome gala reception for Chancellor's Week in celebration of the UWI's 70th anniversary. And that's how we close out Jamaica House Weekly. Be sure to join us next time for more of the news stories coming out of the Office of the Prime Minister.